CAD 107, Introduction to 3D Printing. I'm making a recording of this video conference. We're going to look at Project 9 today and how to model this stationery holder. We're going to use AutoCAD for this project. If we take a look at the project, it's basically another tool to organize your desk. And he's using SketchUp, which would be his CAD software, and then he's exporting his CAD model with this guitar list STL export plugin. And we're using AutoCAD. We have the ability to go and export with that. And then we'll use the Dremel net slicing software. When we take a look at the goals for this, we want to be able to have a print time of a little bit more than 2 hours, 0.4 millimeter layer height, which is fairly quick. 3D modeling difficulty 4 out of 5, and assembly 2 out of 3. And he gives the instructions on how to create this 3D print. And he's got a couple of different designs, and he used these polygon shapes, these 6-sided polygons, which I thought those looked pretty good, so I modeled them the same way. And what we'll do is we'll open up the mechanical title block, the metric title block, and then we'll create these diameter circles. So we'll do a 50 millimeter, 60 millimeter, and then we will offset those. And I offset those about 5 millimeters. And then I press pulled them to these heights as shown. And so if we take a look at that, that's how the file looks. And what I've done is I've, again, followed the way the author has been creating the assignments for this textbook. And if we go into the top view and restore the UCS to plan, UCS plan, then we can basically see how this is laid out. These are the geometries described in the textbook. So it's giving a radial dimension of 30, and then if we look at this one here, 25, so that would be our 50 millimeter, and our 60 millimeter. 20, that would be our 40 millimeter. And what we're talking about is these numbers right up here. So he does 340s, 250s, and a 60. As I was modeling it, I started thinking I'm going to need a base for this. Because in the instructions, what he does is he says, go ahead and lay these different features out. And then what he wanted to do was to connect them. And what I decided to do was to put some kind of a plate down that I'll extrude up, and that'll come a little bit later. I decided to do these with polygons, and so you can certainly do a polygon by going to the draw polygon command. Number of sides would be 6. Specify the center, circumscribed, and then I just pull these out like that. And then I moved them according to some of the directions, kind of the way they were laid out. If you look through the exercise, we draw these 6 circles. We arrange the circles. You can add these details to hold them together. and then extrude these. We press pulled them, make an offer for the press pull. He offset them and then pushed them down. I just pulled them up. I'm going to see if there's so getting to the modeling aspect of it. We can offset these polygons 5 millimeters. And then what I did was to press pull them into those shapes. And so essentially we can come over here. If we look at the exercise, the height, if you laid them out, would be 130. And I'll have to check that again. Let's see here. So I'm going to need to look at this while I do it. So we could press pull this up 130. So press pull, hover, acquire. And we'd go up 130. And it's that same technique. We could press pull this other shape. I'm going to change that to a orange color. Press pull, acquire the geometry, pull that up 100. And then one more. Press pull 74. And so I think the rest are pretty obvious how to do the rest of those. I'm just pulling the values for the heights. And these are general numbers. You don't have to make them exact. You can modify this design, make it something that you'd like to customize. I did some customization on it, and I'll show you that as we go towards the end of the video. And so once I got all the shapes, rather than to do this connection thing, what I did was to create a spline around the base of the object. And so you can come into the draw commands and you can get a spline. I like splines because you can kind of press them and pull them around. Hit enter to terminate the spline command. And then you can modify the shape by grabbing these control points. It's a little oversized. I was thinking of adding a spot for business cards. And so once we have that, we then go and grab an isometric view. I'm going to just hold the shift key and select the middle mouse wheel. And then what I would do here would be to extrude that 5 millimeters. And so I'd say extrude. And then I bring that up 5. Let's use a different color. So we'll go up 5 millimeters. And then what you need to do here is you need to union these objects, because right now these are all separate. So we can say union, and then we can place a box around this and hit enter. And you'll notice that kind of cleans up the edges. And then as far as some customization and such, I added the oak leaf logo to the front by putting a 3-point UCS and then inserting that. And you're welcome to do that, or if you want to put your initials on that. But you want to have some way to be able to recognize your 3D printed part project. I added some fillets using solid fillet edge. And I believe I did a 2.5 millimeter radius on that. So that's project 9. And if we go back and take a look at D2L, it's taken from the 20 projects book, and we're basically modeling it to the dimensions within the textbook using AutoCAD. And then once we have that part modeled, we'll submit it to the project 9 Dropbox as a drawing file and as an STL file. Save the file and exported the file as an STL, so I'll save as project 9, add an extra value to that, and then export the STL. You can hit the big red A or just type export. We're going to choose the STL file, save, select it, hit enter. And then we can take it into the slicer. So we can go to our Dremel. Hi, Alan. So I'm making a video recording of this presentation, and I'm just going to do this live. And so Alan does have the ability to talk if he wants. So you're welcome to talk about the slicer if you'd like to. I'm going to open the file. And select it.
Okay.
Hey, Alan, how are you?
How you doing, Joe? I'm
I'm
just
good.
waking up from a nap. Oh.
I'm recording a video, so all right, almost fits. I'm going to have to scale this.
All right.
Maybe 80%. And I'm going to end this recording at this point, and we can do another video on how to do the slicing. It's going to take a little bit more work. So just to recap, model the project using AutoCAD, and the directions for that are within D2L. So we've got this project 9. There is a tutorial file that you can download that shows step-by-step how to do this part. Make sure you put some kind of a branding on it, or your initials or your name, so that when we 3D print these projects and put them out for you to pick up, you will know whose is whose. And that's basically it. So that ends this recording of our video conference for April 22nd.